guys. Game 2 of Digital Chaos versus the Dire, and we can actually call them the Dire this time, Draskell.
Oh, it feels good, man. I was so happy when PPD chose Dire. Because this game, first game, Dire had choice, and then this game, Digital Chaos had choice, and they chose first pick. So.
How'd you feel after game number 1? I was kind of looking at it, kind of reflecting on it, and it felt like Digital Chaos from a strategic perspective just came at it a lot stronger than
well, it was, to me, it felt like what happened was a classic dual core versus a single core. Like the 2-core wins the late game. Because you have more late game damage potential. You have multiple sources of damage rather than going in very heavily on one aspect and then hoping that the one hero on your team that does something other than magic is going to carry. So I kind of feel the same. But I do think that the draft could have worked. It's not a question of it was never going to win. It's just they actually needed to be more fight-oriented than they were, I feel, if they wanted to win.
Okay.
Because like the Medusa can build those items with like the Blade Mail and the Phase. Even the Lincolns is fine. Because at that stage in the game, no one on the other team is like crazy tanky. But MSS built nothing but tank items. And Abed built like nothing but tank items. And Mason gives his whole team 20 armor. And it's just like, how do you kill that? You know, 2 pipes, crying out loud. It was tough.
Yeah. Nature's Prophet. Is this the first? Yeah, this is the first Nature's Prophet we've seen all day, right? Because it's been
banned, I think, in the other games, right? Yeah, this time around, they banned the SB.
I mean, I personally feel like Furion is crazy overpowered. I feel like this hero is actually just doesn't care about deaths right now. He just kind of like keeps running at you. He keeps pushing you. He keeps teleporting in for kills and stuff, and like he just keeps doing it. And no matter how many times you kill him, he still ends up getting farm, and he still ends up, you know, being a big off-lane like core.
I feel like he's one of the few heroes where you can have like 15 deaths and you still win. You're just like, all right, we did it.
Yeah. But then again,
I think he's in a
has a nice duo.
I think they're gonna nerf the trees. Like,
yeah,
36 damage is just too much, man. That is like so much.
When you see Furion and he 1v2s the enemy bounty rune, and he wins, you know, he successfully pushes back 2 heroes because he's got treants with him. Like that in my opinion is when you know there's a bit of a problem. You know, because this one core and this one support just can't stand up to Furion and his trees.
Yeah, you can even have the double spawn. That's the thing that's even like more insane, is you can have 4 trees at the bounty rune at level 1. And no hero in the game fights that. Even if you have a stout shield, you still get beaten down. It's just silly.
Yeah. So, a Dazzle Venomancer is the duo from Digital Chaos. Dire, meanwhile, do get a Night Stalker to couple with Nature's Prophet. I really like Night Stalker, Nature's Prophet here. There it definitely is going to be the feeling of a lot of global power, you know, because the Night Stalker is always off map, and he's able to set up these ganks for the Nature's Prophet, you know, TPing in, got his ultimate going in as well. Like, it's going to be a very, I think, scared atmosphere for Digital Chaos, unless they're able to find a lineup that is able to 5-man, for the most part, take a lot of these objectives and just take map control pretty early.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the NS Nature's Prophet combo, especially since not only did they ban Lycan, but they banned SB as well, which I feel like are like the 2 best like counters to like being all over the map, because he just grants vision of the one hero, and even if you cancel the charge, it's like you know where they are the whole time, and it's not going to be very easy for you to get across the map without being noticed. So I think they set themselves up for a different style of game, whereas the first game was like a 4 protect one. This time around, I think they just want everybody to be involved.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah. Our bans. Death Prophet being banned away from Digital Chaos. Apparently, despite having a Venomancer, they don't want to have that matchup. Maybe in part because they're not planning on putting the Venomancer mid, and they're also going to ban the Jakiro. Meanwhile, Lycan and Batrider being taken out by the Dire. Batrider is probably one of the best heroes to catch out that Nature's Prophet, so I can feel it.
Yeah, they're setting up, I guess Zai's going to play it. They're setting him up for a pretty good game, in my opinion. I don't think Dazzle does, like, super well against Furion in lane, and we don't even know if Dire decide, they just want to dual lane it. There's no reason not to. I mean, EG did that a lot at TI. They would have like the Naga Fury in lane, and we casted those games. They crushed the safe lane every single game. It was nuts. They just demolished like these really weak position 5 heroes that don't buy stouts, and they just murder them.
And Lich. Oh, speaking of that, it was Misery's team, right? Thunderbirds that at Dream Lake did a very similar setup with the Tidehunter Nature's Prophet, support Tidehunter, right? Where they just gushed.
I saw those games actually.
Yeah. So they're definitely familiar with that kind of strategy. Lich gonna be picked up here, Earthshaker for Digital Chaos. Our first Earthshaker of the day, and I've been watching a lot of these other games, and it seems like Earthshaker doesn't really come up a whole lot as a off lane or 4 position as much as he used to.
I think a lot of the time you want more of the lane dominator now. Like if Furion's in the pool, you pick Furion, right? Like,
yeah.
Why would you not? He's just like the god of offlane right now. He's like almost TI3 broken, I think.
Gotta start.
I do love some Shaker though.
Yeah, me too. Big playmaker. One of those heroes that can definitely counter the Nature's Prophet when he starts doing his split pushing shenanigans. It's gonna be a little difficult though against that Night Stalker and usually the vision supremacy that's had.
I think that they're like DC are picking more of like these. We play as a unit heroes. Like we want to be together a lot of the time because they have such good defensive playmakers. Like Dazzle is one. Venno gives you a little bit of vision. It's also very hard to run into him. And then Shaker with like Fissure as well. So yeah, they pick an anti-mage. This is literally just buy time Dota from DC. Now I do think that AM is okay in this game, but there's going to be a lot of lane pressure this time around from Dire. It's not going to be, that 4 protect 1 Medusa where they're just kind of waiting for Pycat to get his items. This time, I think everyone's going to be much more involved. There's so much vision on the side of Dire too. Like Hawks, Night Stalker, you can TP in, you can go for like these super aggressive plays. I imagine they pick CC&C something that's going to also be very active as well.
So where is the Beastmaster going and where is the Nature's Prophet going?
Good question.
Is it a safe lane Furion and an off
lane? They might aggro the AM, I guess.
Okay.
At the very least, they can dual lane, right? There's no reason not to. You have really good heroes for dual lanes.
And are you at all concerned about the fact that we had the Anti-Mage picked up into the Beastmaster? Like Beastmaster's got to be one of the better ganking lockdown heroes against AM.
I think with the amount of vision they're going to have, it is going to be a problem for him. It's not even just about how much vision Dire get. It's also taking vision away from the anti-mage. Like warding is going to be super important. I mean, it's going to be tough to get him space, I feel. But if he can get to a point where he has like 3 items, I think that there's a chance. Because there's always a chance with an anti-mage, right? If you play your cards right and you have the time, you can always win the game. But I think that Dire are going to be putting on tons of pressure this time around.
5 seconds remaining.
Like they can take towers early, just between the Beastmaster and the Furion. They can fight. Like their lanes are crazy good. Like they do not have a weak laning hero on their team. I would say that Shaker and Anti-Mage are like pretty mediocre, depending on the matchup in the laning phase. Dazzle's like okay, and Venno is good. But yeah, I'm feeling Dire's lineup is they do not want to play the same game they played in game 1.
See what our final hero is. The Dire actually banning away Tidehunter, a hero that we don't see too often right now, but would have been, I guess, one of those big team fight heroes that with Dire's aggression may have caused, just like those 1 or 2 bad team fights that can lose you that kind of game, right? Against an Anti-Mage. You're trying to be aggressive, you're trying to take the map control, but you get one good Ravage in, and then an Anti-Mage comes in, cleans up a couple of heroes, and then you just kind of fail to get control of the game ever again. So what other like really big team fighting aspect heroes are left for Digital Chaos to put their hands on?
Yeah, I like the banning of just very straightforward team fight because their heroes can't lock them down. Like Kraken's going to remove silence, it's going to remove roar. You have to burst them before the Ravage or you're not going to get them. And I think it's the high ground more important than anything else because the Bat and the Tide ban kind of lead me to believe that that's what they care about the most. All right, that's an Underlord cat.
Well, it may not be the big team fight aspect, but it is definitely a hero that stalls out the game, right? Like, he gives you some team fighting, but it's not the levels of, like, Enigma or Tidehunter. Like, those were the kind of offlaners that were available. But the Underlord...
Is it also...
Yeah?
5 seconds.
I was going to say, I like the Underlord because it's good wave clear. Like, he is the only hero in the game, I think, that can kill a wave with his level 15 with a spell lamp with just one cast. There's no other hero that does that, right? I want to say he's the only one. He, like, straight up kills melee creeps with one level 4 Q at level 15.
I'm sure there's one that has, like, a level 15 talent or a level 10 talent, but I can't think of any right now. So you might be
most heroes have to kill it in 2, right?
Yeah,
like even the heroes like Lena, they need 2 spells, but Underlord does it in 1, which is like crazy, and it's low cooldown. So I guess they wanted some more outspam and something that buys teamfight items.
Ooh, but they grab an alchemist. But this doesn't.
It outpaces the AM. That's the only thing that's important. Like they want something that's going to be able to walk on the high ground. So they have Lich Armor. They're going to have probably Pycat buy Solar Crest, and they're going to walk on the high ground, or I guess Beastmaster could buy it too. They could even buy Vlad's on that hero. Like, they're going for this kind of 25-ish minute, we breach the high ground with our insane amounts of armor and hope that we can take the tower, because CCNC is probably going to have a lot easier time getting farm than Abed will this game.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's how I feel. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily work out that way, but...
Yeah, I can kind of feel that just because I don't think they had too many other options with the way they set up their draft. I don't think you can see this Underlord and kind of like detour in any way. I think you just have to commit to being able to have the ability to go high ground at 25 minutes. So I do like the way they're kind of setting up the safe lane Furion. I think that this will allow them to be able to take some really good laning phase aggression.
I think that the Alchemist just benefits from their style of lanes so much more than other heroes. Because all you really need on the Alchemist is to win your laning phase.
Yeah.
And then you just have like 4 items or 5 items in 25 minutes and the enemy team can't kill you. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm kind of feeling like the Dire, in my opinion, I like what they're doing a little bit more. I think a lot of it's just going to come down to how the lanes work out.
You push out from Moonmeander, but they did do a double TP. So Bulba, who also TP'd out with an early smoke and his boots, is going to get a ward down somewhere, and he's going to go ahead and put the Shrine ward that gets a little vision over the mid lane. So he can kind of see the rotations from the Alchemist out of the laning phase and into his jungle, which is very common for Alchemists to do, especially when they feel pressured. As he should be pretty pressured, right, with... was it mid Venomancer? It is, right? Even though Mason's playing it.
I don't think it's his favorite lane in the world, but
yeah,
they could even like stack for him too. It depends. They could also put the Lich mid. I don't think Alchemist. He probably does care about levels a little bit at least, but you know, worst case scenario, you swap him up. You just put CCNC at a place where he's going to be able to hit creeps, so you stack for him. So it's pretty easy when you have a Beastmaster too, right? Because you're going to have the boar. And if you're not like able to accomplish anything in the lane with the boar, then you can just use it to stack.
Yeah. Look, here comes the Treant push. Misery's gonna go forward with Treants. Of course, he's not gonna be able to snag away that bounty rune. Now so many heroes set up. They're gonna have the Dazzle Animage up at top, up against the Furion with the Night Stalker kind of hanging around. MSS is gonna be able to get a safe lane Underlord against the opposing offlaner and the Beastmaster. And I think that's particularly important that Underlord has a strong laning phase, because you don't want to be that Underlord that is kind of underfarmed, is just kind of like suicide pushing and dying a lot. You know, because you don't have the HP, you don't have the items to be able to survive through the gank and get your successful Dark Rift off.
Yeah, I think that MSS is going to have a pretty okay time down here. Atrophy Aura against most melee heroes is pretty hard to deal with. You just get such a huge bonus damage advantage that you just out CS. You can push out the wave even, you know, once you get your arcanes, and he should do more than fine, I feel. For the first 2 or 3 levels, I think Zai will probably stay even, and then as he gets more, he'll eventually pull ahead on MSS.
Yeah. Our mid lane, we already saw a very good block from Bulba. Got some extra damage onto the Night Stalker. Misery's just trying to make sure that CCNC doesn't get completely overrun in this mid lane and this duo that's being run at them. Meanwhile, top, Moonmeander and Abed going together against Pycat and PPD. Between the sacrifice and the natural Nature's Prophet laning advantage with throwing treants at you, I feel like this lane is not going to be too fun for Digital Chaos, but it is going to get them the advantage they want by giving Underlord a 1v1.
Yeah, I think it's like you mentioned, it's super important for MSS to have a nice time. But, you know, the Alchemist is another factor too. Abed's getting so low here. We'll be forced to blink out.
Oh, Pycat thinking about going for the aggressive TP, but not actually going to go for it. Bulba's up here now, and these Dire heroes are actually very low, so maybe they can get a kill off of a Fissure. We'll have to see. Oh no, the Fissure doesn't actually hit Pycat, and he snags the kill on Abed before the blink can go off. Oh, Bulba. That was definitely a long range. They managed to trade 1-for-1, but it's the first blood that goes to the Dire side.
That was a Monkey King auto attack. Come on, dog.
Yeah. Man, if only he had actually hit that Fissure, because it blocked Pycat off, but it didn't actually hit, right? I'm not crazy in that.
No, I don't think it did. And he's already got phase. It's 2 minutes in. Dear Lord, this is going to be a struggle now.
Yeah.
This is like the point in the lane where he feels the strongest bottom as well. Ganking on this Beastmaster.
MSS.
Or I guess they're trying to gank MSS.
Just trying to stand in the fire as best as possible. Now the Firestorms wear out. Zai comes forward for a couple more pod shots. MSS slowly but surely going down. The Void. Can they do enough right-click damage? They just can't. They can't do it.
Oh, he wasted his salve at the tower. He had Orb of Venom on. He has to walk back to base.
Oh no.
Oh, that was the dream and then the nightmare.
This is truly the
too,
walk of shame. Yeah, CCNC.
He got hit by the tower. Oh my god. Okay. Disaster.
Wow. Yo, I hate the Orb of Venom healing salve interaction right now.
Why does that happen?
I feel for it. I don't know, dude. You like towers don't break your salve, but Orb of Venom does? Come on.
Yeah, that's just actually infuriating. They are gonna get Mason though in return.
PPD, yeah, I actually didn't follow the Furion TPing out. So PPD dies at top as a result of Pycat leading, but Abed's actually dropping a little low. Fortunately, did still have a heal out. And yeah, that kill on the Venomancer way more important than a kill on Lich.
It's alright, Furion with phase boots, that's basically 6 slot, right? He just kills anyone now. Just punch him.
Yeah, especially with the minus armor, I'm assuming, out from the acid spray, making it even harder for that poor Venomancer when the Furion shows up.
You know, the Alchemist is not really, like, CS-wise, not doing too bad.
Well, MSS
right now,
is just
as
now getting back to base.
If he can maintain the pace, then I think that they're still going to be in a pretty good spot. And yeah, MSS, like, when that happens, when your salve gets canceled and you have to walk back to base because of Orb of Venom, it's just spam your OS frogs, you know? Yeah. That's some pretty tilting stuff.
And the fact, like, it makes it so much worse because most of the situations, it's like, all right, I have to walk back to base, but I'll TP out, you know? But the fact that he had to make that long walk both ways, he lost, like, a whole entire minute in lane. Oh.
You know, most of the time I would say that MSS pretty handedly wins the lane, but because of that whole thing, he's actually behind.
Yeah.
It really, really hurts because they need him for spam. Bulba? Some tree blocking going on here.
He's just going to get a right-click down. It looks like the heal comes out from Moon Meander, but he... Okay. I was setting that up for, like, oh, he doesn't have Shellgrave, so he's going to die. But high ground miss. Very fortuitous. Moon Meander. Oh, boy. Pycat gets another right-click in. Moon Meander does have the heal, though. And will survive. Jesus. This Furion's just destroying up here in this top lane. And now the Night Stalker, Misery, especially since it's nighttime, he's taken over in the mid lane, and I don't think he's going to be too threatened by Mason thanks to this extra movement speed, and CCNC's just going to play full jungle style.
I think that's fair. I mean, unlike a lot of other heroes, as an Alchemist, you don't really care if you're killing jungle creeps, you know? The Grievel's Greed is really what you want. You get those nice little, like, 4 spawns of satyrs, a medium camp, some troll spawns. You're living life. Feeling pretty good about it. But yeah, I think this is the right thing to do. I mean, look at the CS on Abed. He's not really farming at all. Like, he's got 20 CS at 6 minutes. That's not... I mean, I get why they're going aggro. Like, we talked about MSS and having the good lane and having that hero who can delay for you, but has it been worth it, I guess is my question.
MSS in serious trouble. Now, he didn't have the mana for the TP out. Has it now.
He can just TP. Oh, no, he can't. There's a roar. Zai's 6.
So they actually needed Moon Meander here, but he gets here just in time. MSS doesn't have the mana for the Firestorm. He's going to get it soon. Zai actually throws out his roar finally. MSS. Oh, he actually leveled up Firestorm, so he still doesn't have it. He could have gotten a kill on somebody. Throws it now, but it's not hitting any heroes. Oh, the low HP heroes are below you, MSS. What happened? He tries to go for the right click. Maybe he goes for Zai. Almost gets him. Pycat's here, though. Savior managed to get the physical damage to bring down the Underlord and all of the Dire heroes. Never mind. Boba will take one. He gets the Beastmaster, but the Night Stalker survives.
Dude, that was like... That Firestorm. I'll just say it was questionable. We'll move on. I don't know what else to say, man.
All I can say is that MSS is a fantastic offlaner, but he's got to be tilted out of his mind from that healing salve play, and now this.
Yeah, I believe it, actually. It's like, man, I should have crushed my lane. This game should have been so easy for me.
Yep.
Now I got my salve canceled and I died. I missed my Rain of Fire. GG. It's okay, though. They still got the pocket AM. And the Mason's doing very well. He's sitting atop the CS right now. He's level 8. About 8 minutes in, so.
Net worth, that puts him at 3rd, just because the Furion, with his kills, has managed to take a step ahead of him. Obviously, Alchemist is Alchemist. Bulba is in serious trouble because Pycat's here on the other side of that high ground. Abed's going to go for the TP out, but they actually do have a Void. Now, I doubt they kill Abed because of
another
this,
miss.
But, oh, they finally do finish him off. Abed makes the blink upwards. They do manage to slow him down, manage to get him into the trees as well. Can they actually finish him off?
Oh my god.
A lot of right-click damage. Abed is going to die. Pycat's going to go for the TP out. Doesn't actually get it. And over to our Dazzle. Dazzle dying to the Beastmaster.
This is so much space for CCNC, man. This is like the exact kind of early game you want on an Alchemist. There's a Furion teleporting all over the map, causing all these problems. You got Beastmaster Roar going, you got a Lich to secure one of the other lanes. Like, this is a perfect Alchemist game.
Yeah, Pycat's just...
Everyone's ignoring you, basically. That's what you want.
Yeah. He's been able to play both his laning phase and his jungle completely uninterrupted. Oh, nice block off there. Zai not going to be able to make a retreat backwards here. Abed right in his face is going to burn through all of his mana. They get a pretty good heal off as well. Zai slowed down. Is just not going to make it out of here alive. Eats through a tree, gets a little distance more. But he'd have to put on some real juke shoes to be able to get away from this one. He's buying time.
What's happening?
He'll die
they
eventually.
Just want to give Abed the kill, yeah.
Tries to break
cool,
a couple ankles before his death. But in the meantime, mid tower is going to die. Denied, at least, by PPD, though. Oh, no, MSS. Fortunately, that Pycat used the ultimate directly on MSS, so it didn't do a whole lot of damage. He's still going to go for the chase, or never mind. Thought maybe he'd surround him with the trees.
I don't think you're chasing Underlord like that.
Yeah,
that's so risky.
Tower, that's for sure.
If he had maybe somebody else nearby, I think they definitely go for that, but... Yeah, for now, I mean, Mason got his tower, so looks like he wants to set up shop in another lane. Looks like it's going to be top. They're going to find Zai again. Oh, this is the Gale, though. Oh, and the Phage's on the wrong side.
Yeah, okay. It's not so great. Zai's going to be able to slow down Mason's damage with that roar, get some distance away from Bulba as well. He's away.
He just walked away from 4 heroes, Cap. Just literally walked away. Space created.
Cacophony of disaster from Digital Chaos.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
6
to MSS is back on the horse.
Is he?
I think so. He's got his arcanes now. That's really all you need. Level 4 Firestorm arcanes. You will get items. Like, this hero farms like a monster.
That is definitely true. I just kind of feel like, you know, he was supposed to be a 1v1 Underlord, but he ended up looking like a regular offlane Underlord. You know? Like
yeah,
arcanes
that's
by 10 minutes.
True. And I can't really justify the anti-mage's farm like being worth it if the lane went that bad, you know?
Yeah.
Like if the AM had no farm and MSS had like another item, I would say that it would probably be okay.
Then again, they are taking a lot of early objectives, right? AM has been granted enough space. He actually took that top tower. Venomancer took the mid tower, even if it was denied. This is going to be resulting in a lot of space with the Venomancer constantly pushing in one lane wherever he ends up going with his wards, and Underlord pushing in waves constantly with Firestorm. It's going to be tough for the D to be able to actually get firm control of the map, because even if they gank one of these split pushing type pressure heroes, there's always going to be another one on the other side of the map, creating space for the Anti-Mage.
Yeah, but I would also say that their style of team, because they have Furion and Beastmaster together, that they pretty much have 2 lanes covered. You know what I mean? Like, Beastmaster stays in one place. You can roar and TP on top of him, or, you know, maybe you just have the Alchemist pressuring the other lane and the Furion TPs to wherever else. I think it's actually okay. If they had, like, anything but Furion and a Beastmaster, I would say that it might potentially pose a threat. But currently, you can even see that it's reflected in the lanes. Like, none of them are really pushed that far past the river.
Yeah, very farmed Beastmaster is actually challenging 1v2 and getting bits of damage onto Abed. He's finally going to make the commitment here. Shalgrave is there, of course. He's going to make his blink backwards. The Furion goes for the TPN, but he's already been healed up a decent amount. Sees him now, actually spots the courier, goes for that, misses out. And Abed will blink in, gets the shrine just in time. So Dire are not going to be able to successfully find that kill, but they draw a lot of attention up to top lane. CC&C will farm bottom. And
oh, he's
NSS,
Pit Lord ulting down here.
Yeah, he's taking some heroes to go deal with that Alchemist.
Good ward, though. Scouting it out. CC&C going to be well aware of what's going down. Now, this is the really big thing. In a lot of games, when you see the Anti-Mage versus Alchemist matchups, it's 2 heroes that have a ton of farm, right? The AM is farming fast because he has his early Battle Fury. The Alchemist is farming fast because, well, he's an Alchemist. So, even in those games, the Alchemist ends up hitting his peak before the Anti-Mage. This is an Anti-Mage with half the CS of an Alchemist. So what I feel might eventually happen is they're just going to get overwhelmed by his strength, as Moon is being pretty aggressively dove here. Not much reaction coming in from DC. They probably saw the movement from DC and assumed that MSS didn't have Dark Rift, so they just go for the dive.
Yeah. And honestly, there's not many plays that Digital Chaos can do in response to that. Right? It looks like they're going to go for CNC, but I just imagine they're not going to have enough damage. We'll see the Firestorm as well as the Pit holding him in place for quite a while. Does a decent chunk, but again, the difference is good 200 HP thanks to that armlet.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest strengths of Underlord, though, as we just saw right there. Since there's the percent burn damage, Alchemist is a hero who doesn't typically like to buy BKB super early because he can just get so many other items that help him increase his own farm, that things like Pit and having the Firestorm on top of it actually do a huge amount of work. There's 3 melee heroes on Dire right now, and 2 of which actually want to hit the tower. So I think when push comes to shove and you're pushing like tier 2s and high ground, that Firestorm and Pit combination is going to come in really big.
Yeah. And at least it seems like push may never come to shove at this rate, as they really haven't managed to take a whole lot of objectives so far, just that offlane tower. But both mid and safe lane have remained relatively untouched. Pit Lord's going to be able to facilitate a lot of defense here that you normally wouldn't expect. Like, defending your safe lane tower this hard is something that I would say is kind of special to only certain lineups. And Underlord Venomancer, they will not let you take any tier 1s for free.
Yeah, that Pit is actually so good. Like, people, it got nerfed when it used to go through BKB and everyone kind of just thought it was a bad spell. But there's a lot of lineups that just delay that BKB by so much that the Pit ends up being like way stronger than you would think. And it lasts for like 12 seconds. It's there forever.
Some aggressive wards going down. Pycat. Are there any big items coming up? We've got the Orchid. That should be very well timed against the Anti-Mage, as he's not going to have mana for a good, like, he'll be susceptible to that Orchid for a good 10 minutes at least, I think.
Yeah,
That's
he's still a couple minutes out from his Battle Fury. It'll still be sub 20, I think, but yeah, you know, this is not ideal.
And CC&C is about to finish up his Radiance, especially if they can take this tier 1 tower. They don't have the Venomancer or the Underlord set up early against this push, so they are going to get a decent amount of chip damage on that tower, even if they don't take it. Pit thrown down by MSS. But Dire are just going to retreat peacefully, happy with the small pittance of damage that they've done, forcing the group up. And every single time I look at Abed, man, every single time he shows up in a lane somewhere, there's Pycat right-clicking him.
Yeah, I really like this. They're like poking and prodding towers, forcing reactions, just mirroring the movements of the anti-mage with the Furion, making it so that Abed never really gets that free lane. He's forced to farm the jungle. It's not really what he wants to do. Eventually, he'll be able to just sit in the lane. Like, once he has the Battle Fury Manta. That seems really far away, though. Like, he's still, what, 1,100 away from the Battle Fury, and it's almost 17 minutes?
Now, we do have a big game changer for Digital Chaos, because it seems like relative doom and gloom with an Alchemist and Furion being so big, but a Blink Dagger is coming in
blink
for Bulba.
Yeah.
That's a game changer, right? Like, now the Furion can't feel so comfortable mirroring the Animage's movements, because if you get one combination stun from the Earthshaker with the Animage blinking on you, then you just stop. They're going to go for MSS here. Pycat locks him in with him in the trees, and they're just going to throw everything they have at MSS to quickly kill him while he's silent so he doesn't have a chance to Dark Rift away and translate that into a Tier 1 tower push.
You know, I really like that play specifically because I think that right now MSS is a more valuable kill than Abed, just due to how much he adds to like the tower defense. If he's dead, then you can just push as much as you want. The Firestorm and the Pit, I think, is what deters Dire from just going full out on a tower more so than just like Plague Wards, right? I mean, sure, now they could get, or no, they saw the Earthshaker, so they probably know he has a blink. I was gonna say they might get that one like grace period fight where they might not have seen your dagger, but they definitely did because it had a ward, and they got hit by the Fury and ulti. So not gonna get that element of surprise, unfortunately.
I like that backdoor attempt from the Dire. Just because it's a great way to be able to kind of get around the Underlord. Just quickly go for the tower before the creeps get there. And they are going to be Echo Slam. There's the entrance of the Blink Dagger. Managed to lock down 2. No follow-up damage, though, as MSS has already thrown out all his spills. Zai is going to go for the TP out, and he is going to be able to make it away, too. Oh, Jesus. That is disastrous for Digital Chaos. Their first Blink Echo Slam, and it's not going to result in anything. Maybe Misery with a Fissure block. They could certainly do this one. And there it is. So Misery stuck against the Animage. He will end up going down, but still, I think Digital Chaos had much higher hopes for that Blink Dagger.
Yeah, for sure. That was unfortunate. I thought he was dead as soon as the Echo landed. I don't know if Bulba was close enough to echo him when he was in the Firestorm, but that definitely would have resulted in a kill. So they get something out of it. Battle Fury is now done, just under the 20-minute mark here on Abed. This will be a nice little tipping point for them. Still have a lot of work to do, though. 7k lead right now for Dire. I mean, not really that much real fighting has happened. It's mostly been like posturing, and you know, a lot of the aggressive plays were from Pycat TPing in from place to place. But DC have done a pretty good job at minimizing their losses.
Furion at 9k net worth, so it's not just the Alchemist who's a bit out of control. But we'll see our Animate start climbing the charts pretty quickly here with its Battle Fury. I'm still very concerned that our Underlord's just going to be kind of like just a walking mech, you know. The Firestorm's still good, obviously, but there would definitely be a lot more impactful heroes for team fights than this Underlord right now.
Yeah, it's looking a little bit hectic for him. And you gotta, like, just that one thing. That's the thing about competitive Dota is, like, if his salve did not get canceled, this could have been like a totally different laning phase for him. It's just like that one mistake.
CCC is in it. He's already missed one concoction. He's going to miss another one. Great juking there from Digital Chaos. Now kiting him in, stuck inside the Firestorm. Affirmative. Chain Frost bounces back to Bulba. Managed to finish him off. PPD will make a clean escape, it looks like. So
I think they're going to need a force staff for the Alch this game.
Dude, Abed just, he's like, they won't give him a break everywhere he goes. He's under assault, silenced up. They actually are going to be able to get this kill with the Orchid easily.
I really like the Helm of the Dominator on Misery as well. The Wolf Creep, adding a ton of damage to that gank.
Another Sprout. Moon Meander silenced. Congrats, you got the ward. You lost your life.
Yeah, the funny part is, like, normally wards are the thing that help you, like, maintain map control, but I don't even think that Dire care about that ward at all. They're just like, whatever, gotta kill.
Yeah,
I
they'd
don't
already
think it had that
blocked,
much longer on it anyway.
Yeah, they'd already blocked several minutes of Ancient spawning, so... Dire quick into the Roshan pit with the Boots of Travel picked up by CNC. He joins the Wolf. And we'll pick up an Aegis. And I have no idea how Digital Chaos stops pushes now. I simply don't think it's possible for them to keep their tier 2s alive.
The tier 2s are going to be tough to defend, but I think going high ground is a completely different story.
Yeah.
Just because of how good Underlord is. Like, his pit covers that whole ramp. Like, you cannot walk up. That's why I was kind of thinking that they might need like a Glimmer or a Force or something for the Alchemist, because he does not want to buy BKB yet. So maybe, you know, when they feel like they hit their timing, he finally buys it after he has like 4 items. But for now, he just wants to concentrate on everything that's going to boost his farming efficiency.
Abed caught again. Orchid from Pycat goes to the TP out, but Misery's there to stop it. They even get the kill to CCNC. So if Dire are just going to be able to run over all the tier 2s, but you're saying, hey, high ground's still a big problem for you, do we look back on our previous series, the way VGJ Thunder handled their first game against Immortals, and we kind of learn from that and say, do you think Dire should just control the map after they get these tier 2s and maybe wait for like second Roshan and just get those really big items?
Oh, Moon getting solo killed, maybe.
Oh, Echo Slam. That'll put a little bit of stopper on things. Zai still going to be swinging his big old axe, though. Chain Frost bounces over. Still managed to finish off Bulba. MSS unable to form a rescue. Now, they went back to the fountain, but CCNC is hitting on the tier 3, so this will give him a few more seconds to bang this one out. It looks like he's going to get that tier 3, too. He makes the full-on commitment. Pycat's here to be able to assist him. And after all, he's got an Aegis. It's not too much he really needs to be scared of.
That was actually really bad for DC. Like, losing the heroes is one thing, but not being up at the high ground to defend your first tier 3, like, those shrines are really important for you right now. You have an anti-mage. You need space. You need places for him to teleport to get across the map and, like, cause some kind of pressure. If you just let your tier 3 drop like that, the anti-mage has such a harder time getting from place to place on the map and feels a lot less safe. Like, even barring the hero deaths, the shrines are... Oh, that's so bad. Like, we talked about the last series and how I think it was BGJ who like ran up to the high ground continuously, right, into Immortals and like kept dying. I think this game, Dire, they don't really want to do that either, but their team is so good at controlling the map, right? Like, they have multiple heroes that can push. They have a ton of vision. They have a Night Stalker. It's really easy for them to control the map.
Smoke push out. Bulba may not have Echo Slam, but he does have Chain Stuns. Smoke's gonna pop. Can they get the blink in the right area? Pycat gets his Shadow Blade away before the sentries are dropped. Just Moon and Bulba just not being fast enough, and Bulba also being pretty unlucky in where he blinked.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Oh, and a courier is gonna die as a result. You kill Pycat, your courier would still be alive.
I'm surprised he didn't just try to right-click down Abed there. He doesn't have Manta. Maybe he was scared of TPs.
Yeah, probably. Misery's here. Pycat coming in from behind, and CCNC from the side. Is Digital Chaos being completely routed in this fight? It is every man for himself. Mason digs himself a hole deep into the trees, does manage to TP out. Moon Meander is going to be the one left for dead.
Well, it is certainly an uphill battle here, Cap. And we talked about, like, once the Battle Fury comes out...
They're going to catch MSS.
They're going to get MSS.
They kicking this pace up a notch, Draskell.
Yeah, no kidding. This is insane. It's not a good amount of damage being output there from Mason, though. I don't think they're going to be able to...
Dead.
Oh, he didn't get to deny.
Dire's
Okay.
middle tower is under attack.
Oh, did he not get killed?
No, he definitely did get killed. Zai was just
Okay, so he did.
about
I
to
thought for a
right-click him.
second. Yeah, I thought for a second that he didn't get it because he didn't get denied. I just kind of expected him to be denied if it landed, you know.
Yeah. I feel you.
But no, this has been a really nice, I guess, draft and performance from Dire this game. Like, game one, I felt like their draft had some pretty significant weaknesses. I mean, it was showcased by like how the game kind of played out, but this time around, it's like really strong lanes, tons of action, TPing everywhere, forcing the enemy team to do what you want, as Bulba's just going to get Radiance burned to death here by CCNC. bonus creep. And yeah, they're just running away with this now.
He's going to have Octarine soon. And then he's going to start passing around Aghanim Scepters. Is there any Ags that you hold particularly valuable for Dire?
I guess in the theme of like map control, I'd say that Night Stalker Ags is really good.
Okay.
And you could also, I think, justify giving it to Pycat as well.
Yeah. I mean, Beastmaster's got to be pretty good, right? More lockdown against the Venomancer AM or Underlord. All three of those heroes really hate being locked down for long periods of time.
I don't think they care so much, really, though. Like, at this point about the lockdown, it's going to be more about, like, the high ground push and keeping the lanes, like, pushed out.
Yeah,
and I
that's
think
true.
that having the Aghanims and the NS to grant vision is better for map control, obviously, and then Pycat's Aghanims is also... because it's free, it just makes it so much better.
Yeah. You would be able to basically perform this really great split push where you have all three lanes pushing into a tier 3 tower and they can't possibly stop all of the damage.
Yeah. I don't know if we're even going to get to that point, though. I think that Dire could potentially win before he even buys an Aghanims for someone other than himself.
Yeah. Pycat.
But he's doubling the AM.
Yeah, everywhere he goes. Just throws a Sprout out there, lets him know.
That's the dominant Sprout.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to go for CC&C. They hope this Underlord is going to be able to make his TP in, as they're going to need that extra little bit of damage, and they'll get it too. The pit is there. Nice trap set up from Digital Chaos. The first of its kind, I think, as DC have only been on the defensive so far. Pycat is going to be able to find Moon Meander. Now he is going to go for that kill, tries to TP out. Actually, the stun comes in from Bulba, stopping Pycat's TP, and it looks like they are going to catch him here. Nice Sprout backwards. Maybe you can get a kill on Bulba, but no. The damage
That was a nice
there.
play. Pushes himself out. I think that oh, Abed gonna be spotted here. There's the Manta. Oh, they're not. They can't kill him. Pycat's dead. I was gonna say, I think that there was a small window for CC&C to hit that creep that the Dark Earth was going to, but you know, in that type of situation, you're like pretty flustered. Probably didn't think about it because he manted and got like a little bit of ways before the TP finished.
$12 to 18, 29 minutes in. 5,000 experience lead, 12,000 gold lead for Dire. Whenever you got Alchemist games, it's always the experience bar that tells more of the story usually. You can still see that Dire very much ahead. Misery's got himself a gem of True Sight, so they start handing out Aghanim Scepters soon. That gem's going to be all the more value.
The pace is slowing down a bit though, you know, like the gold lead with the Alchemist makes sense, but I'm not really seeing Dire pressure multiple lanes right now. It's really just the one. Like they're sending the trees mid, and I guess Sai was top, but that's like the big bonus of getting like a really big kill like Furion. When that hero's dead, you get so much more freedom on the map, more than anything else.
Yeah. Another shrine will
They're gonna
die.
finally, yeah. So many boars. So many just, like, creeps, you know? Boars and trees and hawks. Misery has had this wolf for a long time.
Isn't that one of the dangerous things about challenging high ground, is that you are going to be pushing a lot of gold into Digital Chaos, whether it's just through regular laning creeps or it's going to be your summons and potentially even hero kills on the line there.
Yeah, I think so. Like, giving away... like the +4 treants or whatever, instead of the int. I think that's like one of the big reasons why people don't get that, is that when you're playing against a hero like a Sven or an anti-mage, is that they're so liable to die.
So they've got the second Aegis plus cheese. Like now maybe it is time to go high ground. They've got that big advantage. Misery's going to be kind of caught, but fortunately PPD is there with the 4-staff. Unstable Concoction is going to be able to catch Bulba. And the pit tries to zone out some of those heroes, and Bulba does manage to get away as a result, but don't think Digital Chaos is going to be able to stop these pushes onto the tier 2s. Abed's trying to buy as much time as possible. He's actually going for an Aghanim Scepter next up, as he knows he's got a lot of issues Orchid, Beastmaster Roar, Night Stalker Silence. So we need something to stop some of these initiating abilities.
Dire's bottom tower
Yeah,
is
it's a
under
solid
attack.
choice, I think. It makes him feel a lot safer. It's a lot cheaper to buy than Lincoln's. It's tough though, because he's gonna need like what? Maybe he buys Butterfly or Abyssal after that, and then that's potential for DC to actually take fights. Because later into the game, the Alchemist doesn't really counter Anti-Mage. It's more about like the Alchemist just reaching his critical mass before the Anti-Mage gets enough farm to do what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
But the longer the game goes, that balance is going to kind of peter out and start to favor the Anti-Mage again.
Yeah. And you know, the one hero we haven't actually talked about is Mason's Venomancer. I don't think we mentioned him a whole lot, but he has been farming quite a storm. He's actually level 23. He's almost got himself a Mjolnir. So he's already got that big damage increase, first of all, and some of the attack speed to back it up. And then he's also going to be very rapidly closing in on that 3 times Plague Ward HP, which is just going to be yet another high ground, big upgrade for Digital Chaos when it comes to defending and prolonging this game.
Yeah, for sure. The level 25 event was so good. I even think the Sting is pretty good as well. I mean, in this game, Plague Wards, I think, are just objectively better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that, honestly, Dire wanted to end the game before it even got to this point, you know? They looked like they were on kind of pace to do that, but even at post 30 minutes, 2 Roshans up, they still haven't taken all the tier 2s. I suppose they're going to alleviate that situation somewhat by taking the mid tier 2.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Now, are Dire going to do that? Yeah, they are. I was wondering if they were going to give that, like, extra minute, you know, where you choose to either go high ground right now off of this push through mid, or do you back up and push the other tier 2 that still remains, and it kind of gives like another minute of split pushing time for Digital Chaos. But it's only Alchemist who's pushing up. They're actually going to leave the other 4 here in mid, smoked up, hoping to be able to find someone who pushes out the mid lane, assuming that it's just 5 top rampaging through. It might just be able to catch Mason, though Mason is definitely holding on this right-hand side. Not getting anywhere near that cliff area.
DC have played this very well. Dodge a smoke gank, they get the lane out anyway. Abed's still farming. He's making his way towards his next item.
Radiant's top tower
This is what they need.
I like that Mason's making that call, you know.
Radiant's top
Like,
tower
hey,
is
no matter what they're doing, honestly, they're somewhere in that top left-hand side of that. Just push. Go into that offlane jungle. Push that tier 2 tower. Like, see if we can force them back. Force them away from pushing into high ground.
Yep.
Dire's
I think when you're in these types of positions and you only have like 2 heroes on your team with buyback, like DC only have buyback on Mason and Bulba right now, that the worst thing you can do is see like no one on the map and then go out and then be forced to buy back before the enemy team really starts to push. Because when you're fighting into stuff like Aegis as well, you want like as much resources as you can possibly muster to throw
Hi,
at that
Cat.
defense.
Kind of gets caught, but he managed to get the Orchid onto Bulba and is trying to finish off Orchid before he dies, and he does so successfully. That's just going to be the Aegis, too. Zai's going to be able to open up onto MSS. Here comes some of the rotations from the Dire. Now, MSS is down to half health. Can they actually get him before his ultimate? His Dark Rift goes off. He eats through the trees, managed to get him away. Abed's actually still here. He's going to have to blink to the trees. Meanwhile, over at top lane, CCNC started banging on that tier 3 tower, and it's already down to half health. So, a small win for Digital Chaos, and the fact that they were able to bring down the Aegis for the upcoming team fight, but it cost them quite a lot. Pycat has taken that range rags.
bottom barracks has fallen.
They just keep on going back and forth now that some attention has been directed towards bottom. CCNC pushes his illusions forward at top, and they've even got mid lane beginning to push in as well, so they are corralling Digital Chaos in.
This is really nice. You know, you look at this lineup traditionally with the Alchemist frontlining, you just imagine him being that hero who walks up to the tower and hits it, and then you just get items to buff the Alch. But against NSS in particular, this hero is extremely good at defending his tier 3s. So if you have a Furion, you can always just avoid the Firestorm completely, have him pushing another lane. There's no tier 3 in the bottom lane, hasn't been for quite a while. So every time that, you know, Dire pokes at one lane, say they poke top or poke mid, and Pycat's somewhere else, you know, just making something happen. And if they do engage, then you can probably just take the tower and or the racks, depending on what lane you're set up for. Because 5 versus 5, I actually think that DC have a very good chance of winning a fight, even given the net worth discrepancy. You can take about half of that away, and that's just the Alchemist, right? So if you take a 5v5 straight up and you're just pushing into a Veno and a Shaker with a Blink and an Underlord, the fight's probably not going to go that well for you with the heroes that Dire have.
So you then put a priority on that Night Stalker Aghanim Scepter, maybe, and just like anything to not take the full 5-on-5, but like just constantly push them in, and they're going to naturally try and split push and just see if you can find that pickoff.
Yeah, I think it's a good play. Because if you don't want the Alchemist to be pushing into Underlord, like I think that's the hardest thing to overcome really for Dire.
Right.
And again, the longer the game goes, the AM is he's gonna get to that point where the Furion and the Alchemist himself are not really going to be able to deal with him anymore. He's going right now for the AC, which I think is a really good choice given the amount of minus armor that they have on Dire currently. And then, you know, whatever he decides to buy after the fact is just going to be even more icing on the cake. And then he can start going for kills, you know? It's not like their team has an insane amount of damage if he has like an AC +1 item and they have like this Underlord standing behind him in fights. Yeah. He reduces so much damage. Like Atrophy Aura during the late game is very, very strong.
So would you say that even with, you know, our range racks missing at bottom, no tier 2s up, would you say this game is pretty even, pretty 50-50 when it comes to who you think is going to come out on top?
Maybe still a slight advantage for Dire, but I think if they make like 1 or 2 big mistakes, I think that DC will just be like straight up advantage.
Yeah.
Because Alchemist really quickly, after he gets a 6 slot, he wants to like end the game then. Like with his items, he probably wanted to have already racks. But due to the high ground defense nature of DC's lineup, he can't just casually walk up. You know, he doesn't have a BKB. He can't just hit the tower with magic immunity and kill it fast enough to warrant making that kind of play. Right. So he's opted now for the Aghanim's choice. So we're going to see who he gives the first one to. I still think Night Stalker and Furion are probably the best 2 candidates, with PPD probably being like the lowest on that list, and then below... Or no, maybe even just giving it to himself is lower, because it doesn't really do anything for you but give stats. So he probably gives himself Aghanim's last.
Yeah.
But vision control and split pushing is, I think, one of the strengths of Dire's lineup. Whereas DC, this anti-mage is very quickly getting out of control. And like you mentioned too, Mason, his farm is still pretty good. He's not that far away from Abed's net worth.
Hey, it's going to be, if he gets that Mjolnir, he's going to be hitting for 300 damage a hit. Range hero sitting in the back. Then on top of all that magic damage, then add in the fact that his wards are going to be hitting like you know, level 25 support heroes basically with that 3x upgrade on them. 120 damage a hit. Bulba's TP is going to be stopped, and he should be dead.
Easy kill.
All of this is space. Space. Abed getting more and more time for his Assault Cuirass. Pycat is actually going to teleport in ahead of his team, making their rotation downwards, trying to scout out some heroes. Closed in the map once again, not letting the Animage have an opportunity to push out mid. CC&C is already here at bottom lane, putting a stop to MSS. In fact, he's going to set up for a kill here, with the help of the Furion, presumably, but the Dark Rift goes off before the stun hits, so they give up on that kill pretty quickly.
The position on the map right now for Dire is really good. Like, 2 lanes are pushing in their favor. They have a tier 2 buffer for the anti-mage bottom, so they have time. This is a really good time for them to push. They're sending 1 hero back, but Pycat can immediately TP if he's needed.
CC&C start chipping away at that melee racks, but here comes MSS, the big high ground defender. You can see some of the damage that's done on that Firestorm, but all of this is just buying time for Pycat. He's already hit the tier 3, broken it with his BKB. He's going to try and finish off the range racks as well, and there's nothing Digital Chaos can do while he's golden like this. Gets off the invis. They do manage to get a dust onto him. Deeper into the trees he goes, gets the sprout off, turns, TP's out, he's away. Meanwhile, back over to the bottom lane, CC&C is challenging Abed. Abed does get a shallow grave and a blink backwards. He'll be okay. But still, more damage has been done by the Dire. Digital Chaos, they're scrambling to defend both top and bottom at the same time.
Man, it's very well played by Dire, to be honest. Like, it looks pretty easy just to be everywhere at the same time and push lanes and still be able to deal with like Abed split pushing, but they're making all the right calls. You know, that having the Furion in the game just against the anti-mage in general just feels so good because you can always be where he is and fight. Whereas the AM kind of wants to do the same thing. You know, he forces one TP, then he TPs home to fight. He wins that fight. That's what anti-mage does when he's behind, or he like creep cuts or whatever. A Pycat can always do that too. And you're never going to be in that fight where normally you try to force that 4v5. He can't do that in this game.
There's the first Axe. I was clicking around and I was like, surely he's giving away an Axe, and I've just missed it. But, no, first one, giving him misery now.
Yeah, this is good. I like this. That vision, man. It is something else. And plus he's level 18, so he has that really low cooldown on the darkness.
Yeah. Have you ever gotten Octarine on Night Stalker?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like something like 15 seconds or
yeah,
daytime.
It's 10-second daytime, baby.
God, that is actually insane. If you get to that point, you know you've won, right? Because like if you have an Octarine on Night Stalker and you haven't won, then you are the reason why your team lost.
I may or may not have been in that position. I will
you just
neither
have that
confirm
idea in
or
your
deny. It was something about it was like a really big split pushing game.
Ah, okay.
Moon Meander
Okay,
should be dropping here to the Orchid. Pycat with his big BKB just kind of stands and fights most of these heroes. Now the jump in from Zai is going to follow up on MSS, making sure he doesn't get off that Dark Rift. Even a Chain Frost coming in to finish him off. Now that Chain Frost is going to bounce over to Bulba, slowing him down even further. Fortunately, Mason has a very long BKB timing, and he will manage to get himself away. CCNC is going to end up stunning himself, but they have to deal with bottom lane. Melee Rax is going to drop pretty soon here. They leave Pycat any room to start beating on that one, so CNC. He takes over Pycat's old position up at this top lane. Again, just always on the opposite sides of the map. Pycat checks out Roshan Pit, and it is up. So that small pick on the Dazzle may not allow them to be able to take another objective when it comes to buildings, but they will at least get another Aegis Cheese.
Now this has been a very nicely played game. Like the whole series of events, like Pycat getting that really late 10-second BKB did so much work. He was able to kill top. And this is kind of the strength that you have when you're like controlling the map for so long and you're able to accrue this much of an item advantage, is that once you do buy BKBs and they're full 10 seconds, your late game power spike is just ridiculous. Like 10-second BKB with as many items as CCNC has and Pycat, fighting into that is like, how do you kill them? Like the biggest strength of DC's lineup was the fact that it did take them so long to buy BKBs that things like Pit of Malice and Firestorm were just such good spells to defend that they couldn't high ground. But because they held the map control for long enough, they eventually transitioned into their late game BKBs, and that's kind of like the crack point where, you know, DC can't really defend anymore if they fully commit.
So where is the point that it turns around for DC? Is it when they have BKB Abyssal Blade on Abed? Because it feels like the Animage still, after all this time, doesn't have the
he can't
tools
even really
to be
get
able to
an
beat
Abyssal.
the Alchemist. Yeah.
Because he has like these two filler items, right? Like he has the Aghanims, which I still think is a fine purchase, and then he has AC, so he can't really get both. He's going to have a BKB, but he's going to require the team to lock heroes down for him. And I guess the other way they can go about it is try to bait the BKBs out, but it's so hard to do. MSS going to be trucked here.
Again, MSS gets the kitchen sink thrown at him, and Dire will go high ground. This time with 5 heroes in all one lane. That's because MSS, the big high ground defender, is dead for 90 seconds with no buyback. Abed comes in, does manage to get a bash on his CCNC, well timed with Bulba following that up with the Echo Slam, but they didn't actually have enough lockdown. CCNC now gets off BKB, beats Bulba down. Shallow Grave actually is there. Misery may have to just run that one down with the BKB of his own. Bulba tries to time the stun, doesn't actually get it. Oh my goodness. That ultimate actually managed to finish off a couple heroes, but CCNC was not one of them. He's full healed up, while Pycat goes for that melee Rax up at the top lane. He does manage to get the Night Stalker, but it's still top lane that they have to worry about. Is Pycat should be able to get this objective, especially since he has both Aegis and BKB. Goes for the TP out. Abed, they have nothing. That was no bash from our Animage there.
Yeah, he switched up his itemization, which I really like. I'm glad that he did not go BKB. Because it just feels like if he bought BKB, sure, he would be super tanky and he would do a lot of damage, but he can't kill without lockdown. So I think in the end he made the right call by swapping the item progression and going for the Abyssal Blade. There is a double damage here, but there's still 3 tier 2s up, man. This is such a hard game to come back in. They do defend the melee racks in the bottom lane, but they end up losing top. You know, mid's more than half dead. It's looking rough.
Abed weaving his way through, does complete that Abyssal Blade, so... I mean, that's almost a guaranteed, like, insta-kill on Nature's Prophet, right? If he gets on top of him, there's Abyssal Blade, Mantas, and then ultis. I think that just brings down Pycat, right?
I think so, too. If he had maybe Solar Crest or something on Pycat, he might be able to live, but... yeah, he doesn't have any form of evasion, so if he gets caught, I think he just dies.
So is that enemy number 1 for Abed? Does he try and focus on catching Pycat first, or is there any other heroes?
I think he is like the biggest value. If you feel like you can kill him, you should definitely go for him. Yeah. But if he has like Frost Armor as well, I mean, he's got almost 40 armor. He's not like a super easy kill, but if you can get in the back and no one is paying attention to you, yeah, I think you go for him. Yeah. I guess the big concern is that, you know, Zai has Blink Dagger and they're going to have like Night Stalker vision and Hawks. So it's like getting into the fight unnoticed is going to be super difficult. And if he gets like Solar Crested or they cast a Lotus on him or he gets roared, then life is tough. Tough game.
And it seems like every fight, Pycat's not getting anywhere close to it until they've made some sort of commitment onto CCNC, who's pushing in. And then Pycat finally makes his reveal, as he does here at the bottom lane. Now he's going to be the first one in, trying to get some damage on the melee racks real quickly. Mason push back on a CCNC. Nobody from Dire really gets low at all. But they continue to play that positioning game. Pycat goes for another one. Range racks, more unhealable damage being done. Into that mid lane, CCNC continues to put the pressure onto bottom, where MSS has pretty much made his home. Abed is the one who has to struggle with the decision making here. Where does he go? Who does he initiate on? And how does he stop this bit by bit damage being done to all their other racks? Here comes the Treants trying to finish up the range racks. They've only got this one melee racks that can regen up for them.
This is the nightmare, Cap. The slow and painful death.
Dire is just suffocating them out of this. Oh, there's the jump in. Finally, Abed does manage to find Pycat. It is barely enough to finish him off. So brings down Pycat, who does not have buyback. Don't think they would have used it in any situation anyway. But it is going to be 90 seconds where Digital Chaos can get some control of the lanes and push things out.
Now this is a very vital time for them. If they don't like get 2 lanes out and like pressure, there's no Roshan to take, which is kind of a bummer. It's still a little while before it's going to be respawning, or we even know when the timer is. But you can see how aggressive Abed wants to play this. He is going to get roared though.
He has his BKB, but he's being comboed up. Bulba comes in, managed to get the Echo Slam, but not before the BKB is used by CCNC. Still, it's enough. Abed survives through it. Pops his own BKB without boots. He can't really pursue all that easily. He needed his team to be able to give the lockdown. Bulba, Fisher up 1 second. He barely managed to catch PPD, but all of this for a support Lich doesn't really feel good. Abed's going to go for Misery in the background. Zai is here as well to be able to help lock down one of these heroes. If they think Abed gets a little bit low, maybe they can even go for him. Bulba almost dies. Shallow Grave goes up on him. Dire going to chase him down. Bulba gets a little bit more heal, throws out the Fisher, doesn't hit Misery, who looks to finish off the kill. Back over to CCNC. Chases out Moonmeander, managed to get the roar out from Zai. They'll go for that support first, but CCNC dies. The big Animage ultimate, and now Zai's actually in trouble. Gets bashed up. Couldn't finish off Moonmeander, and he'll pay for his positioning in trying to do so. He also goes down. Now Digital Chaos in a position to force buybacks, but the Furion is about to come back up, and this is when things are simultaneously the best and the worst for Digital Chaos. As they start pushing out waves and getting map control, they are all the more susceptible to these side lane pushes of both super creeps as well as the Furion TP into the base.
Yeah, Abed can't even stay. That's probably the worst part. If they were able to, like, even getting a tier 3 at this stage in the game for DC would be massive. You know, you kill the shrines, you get that little bit of influx of gold, you maybe get to another item on a couple of other heroes. Like, they need a Lotus for sure. That Bloodthorn turns everyone into butter. So they need something to dispel. And right now, they do not have that. So any any kind of money that they can get right now on the side of DC, even outside of just the AM's own farm, is going to be really huge. And getting the Furion kill, that's the dream. Like, that's the best hero to kill at this stage in the game. You get 2 lanes pushed out because of that. You got a tier 2. You got multiple kills. You didn't force any buybacks, which kind of sucks, but, you know, one step at a time.
Back at it again. Abed will take down that tier 3 tower.
Has fallen.
Pycat threatening to TP onto Abed here. So close to the Beastmaster and Alchemist being up. But it looks like they are going to give up this melee Rax.
Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
So I think in the long run, it is the right play to, like, not buy back for that. Because you still have so many heroes that can push on the side of Dire that, you know, one melee Rax is, for you and your perspective on the game, it doesn't really change that much. But for DC, it's like a lot of gold. And it's one lane that you can look at now and don't have to worry about, like, 24/7 and just being shoved in your face if no one's there. So it's a lot of relief in the way of lane pressure.
Dire starts setting up their gank for Abed, but he's already blinked away. They have so many tools between the Furion global TP and then kind of a pseudo global TP for everyone else that has boots of travel thanks to the Hawk. They can kind of set up traps around, and Abed's going to have to be very careful with where he pushes out and where he farms.
Invisibility.
Yeah, the mobility of Dire's team is just insane. They're building multiple hexes as well. Like, PPD and Pycat are both building towards one right now. That means even with the Aghanims, if Abed gets caught out, there's potential for like 5+ seconds of lockdown, not even including Roar at that point. And they still do not have the Lotus finished yet. I think MSS has enough money, but he's just saving for buyout. Or no, he doesn't have enough. No, he has a plate mill. Yeah, he does. Okay, so he's just saving buyout. That item is going to actually be so important for them during fights. Like, being able to remove the Bloodthorn or the Hex, that could, like, literally make or break the game at this point.
Yeah. You know, I almost feel that, like, DC's... I actually think this game is still super close, and maybe DC is in the better position simply because before I was looking at it and it was like, okay, they get this melee Rax, Megas. But we're getting to that point with both the Animage and the Venomancer that Megas won't be that big of a difference for them. They still have the damage to be able to clear through them very quickly. So even if they do get that one successful play, it's no longer the death toll of Digital Chaos. It's no longer that final bell that rings them in.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they can definitely defend Megas. You got Pit Lord, AM, and Veno. Like, the Pit Lord nuke actually just does insane amounts of damage the whole game. Because of, well, he didn't get the Spell Amp this game, but if you get it, I think you pretty much one-shot creeps the whole game. Yeah. Minus, like, you know, Megas, but still does a tremendous amount of DPS. Roshan's up again here. The Dire just going ham. There is a double damage top and an illusion bottom.
Roshan's up, and very soon he will be down, especially with that double damage. They've got Furion Ags. How many other Ags have I missed out? Beastmaster? He's got one too.
Yeah, he was second. I think that Furion was third. Maybe I have the order reversed. I'm not sure.
A Scythe buy soon for our Nature's Prophet. Whew, he lays out the damage, man.
Yeah, we're getting real close to that point where hexes are going to be out. I think that could be the point where the Dire can just end the game. Like, double hex is such a big difference in fights, especially when you only have one form of this spell.
Would you, if you were in MSS's position, would you buy out for that Lotus Sword?
I mean, it's hard to say because no one's showing item progression towards the hex. We only know they're buying hexes because we have the quick buy of both heroes.
Right.
Okay, nice jump in here.
PVD will end up dying there. Abed. It's going to be slowed down a little bit, but he will be okay.
If you knew for a fact that he was going to have a hex, I think it would probably be worth buying out.
Yeah.
But that's only because if you can save Abed, it's worth it.
No one's life is more important than Abed's at this point, right? Even your buyback.
Yeah, I think that's true. Dire are just slow rolling this though. They're just gonna keep the lanes, push in as much as they can with PPD being dead. They don't want to make him buy back. There's no reason to rush it. They still have lane equilibrium advantage. They still have vision advantage. Those things are. I was just gonna say those things are probably not gonna change unless Dire get into a really bad fight.
I really do love the methodical way that Dire has controlled this game the whole entire way through. We were talking about how we were a little bit concerned, like, okay, hey, the Animage is really hitting his timing soon. They still aren't taking those tier 2s. Abed is going to be forced into a BKB here now. He's going to be roared up by the Beastmaster. Bulba's here soon to be able to get the Echo Slam onto Pycat. Now, if Abed can actually get on top of him, it'd be okay, but he has to blink back. Too little HP. Mason's here now, but Bulba looks like he is already dead. Abed at half HP, not really feeling too comfortable. Nice TP back, though. They are going to be able to get the Earthshaker out of there. Pycat making his TP. They saw him. Oh, gets rooted up first, and now Abed's on top of him, and that's trouble for Pycat, especially since they have the counter vision to be able to spot him out inside that invis. Abed blinks forward a little bit faster, doesn't have it anymore. A little bit of burn, but Pycat gets to his shrine, which is activated under Abed's nose. Back over to bottom lane. Zai, he's actually in some trouble. Bulba's back in black. He's actually got a little bit of lockdown onto Zai. Takes a lot of damage, but a Shallow Grave is there again to save him from Moon Meander. Zai's dead, but their base is in trouble. Pycat has gone for it. He tries to go for the teleportation in, but he's been snagged out by the root. He is dead here once, and he's probably dead here twice. He does not have a BKB for a second life. So even if he did have that magic immunity, there still would have been a bash available. So gets the melee racks down to half health, but it regens, so it doesn't really matter too much. This is Digital Chaos's opportunity to force a critical buyback out of the Dire.
They don't have much time. They gotta hurry. You can already see that Dire are moving across the map as much as they can. Like, Zai's gonna send his Hawk into the woods. He'll eventually make his way down there and see if they can't like pressure the lane and force some hero back. Like, Abed at this point, he doesn't really get that much stronger. I suppose he's going to swap out the Battle Fury for Butterfly when he's fighting, but he'll probably hold on to it just for the sake of like killing creeps later on into the game. Yeah. It's getting a little bit hectic here for Dire. I think they're throwing away a lot of kills, and yeah, the net worth lead is still in their favor, but it doesn't really seem to matter that much anymore.
Net worth certainly doesn't matter as much as buybacks. Oh no, CCNC actually stunned himself up there, but Zai is going to be able to get the lockdown onto Abed. Do they have enough follow-up though? Abed, it's going to be silenced up, kind of kited around. And it looks like they may have, maybe they've just saved the Furions buyback, because they still have the tier 2s in bottom lane, and I don't think they have enough time to go straight for tier 4s.
Yeah, so, probably not. Not with 20 seconds. Yeah. That's way too short.
So no real damage has been done for Digital Chaos in this little window. Like, they got some more farm, they're going to take shrines and stuff, but like the real hard-hitting objective damage would have been forcing that buyback out.
Yeah, they might be able to kill this through backdoor. Yeah, they definitely can. That's a nice play. Get the tower. You know you're not really at a huge risk of taking a fight right now anyway. Like, everyone's still just like respawning and trying to reposition around the map, so you know you're relatively safe.
And all your teammates are quite happy. I mean, AM may be 6-slotted, but all these other heroes have lots of room for growth.
Yeah.
That was a 900 damage crit from Mason.
That hero does some DMG for sure. He's got that Daedalus and 4,000 gold on top of it. I guess that's like his 6th slot, right? Does he change anything from this? I don't think so. Just buys like bots 2 and a moon shard and then he's done.
Yeah.
That's like probably one of the highest potential damage output inventories that is like reasonable to have, you know?
Mm-hmm. You think he ever trades the Hurricane Pike?
That item is so good. I don't know. Like, having the extra attack range and the escape, having a self-save on a core is like one of the best feelings in the late game, because you just die so fast if you get caught out by one thing.
Well, there's that one thing. Zai's going to introduce himself with a Primal Roar. MSS is going to be the second target, though. They can't let him get the Primal Rift off. They're going for it. Moon Meander, they manage to get one. Can they kill any other heroes? They actually stop the Primal Rift. They want to be able to fight this one out because Abed's dealing so much damage to Pycat. The BKB wears out. Now he's food for Abed. They look for CCNC. He's up next, bashed up. He's dead as well. 3 down from the Dire. Immediately, MSS goes to bottom lane just to make sure.
Bad Venno, dude. He was just sitting in the back blasting that whole time. And this is one of those stages in the game. We spoke about like the 10-second BKBs and how good they were for Dire and how much work they did with them. But now we're in that territory where it's down to like 5 seconds. So when you have like 6 5-second BKBs, that Pit Lord starts to come in again, and the Venom ulti starts to become potent again. You're not getting like this complete fight with full magic immunity anymore. You're starting to have to deal with those spells being cast on you once again, and we're seeing the effects of it here. And, you know, a super farmed Venom.
Couple buybacks being used. They're saving Pycats for last. And is that because it's the most important one?
I guess.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Because it almost feels like the
this
only
stage-
way Dire win this is if they get Megas while still holding their base.
Dire's
Yeah.
structures
I mean, I don't think they're going to get a chance to push again after that fight. Like, the heroes on the side of DC are so farmed that they don't have the punching power anymore. You know, like giving Aghanims to people is great on Alchemist, but the true strength of the hero is when you have like the 6th slot and you're able to just straight up end the game. And I feel like that window has like long been gone. Maybe for even like 30 minutes it's been gone. So they're trying to like play the split push game and still play around the strengths of their heroes. But when they get into an actual engagement, they're just getting overpowered.
Misery's even trying to turn himself into a right-click damage dealer and additional disables. He's picking up the Abyssal Blade soon. On the hunt, Pycat looks for a pickoff. Oh, now he's got to get out of here as Underlord is Ubering everyone up to this top lane. They almost find Pycat in time. So close. Does Pycat not do enough to eat through backdoor protection?
He may, but it takes a long time.
Yeah.
Like, that's the big problem is, does he have, he does have buyback, right? Yeah, he's got 6,000 gold. Of course he has buyback. So he can do it, but it's not going to be fast. And I think that, like, going for the hexes was a nice idea, but they've actually just been delayed for so long that I don't even know if it matters anymore if they get hexes. Maybe backdoor is the play at this point.
Pycat, you gotta get out of here. You gotta get out of here real soon. Digital Chaos have made their way over with the smoke, and they've caught Pycat. He's dead. He does still have that buyback, though. But this time...
If they can force... If they force the Furion buyback, that is a actual win condition. Because if they kill the Furion one more time, or like he might not even feel like he can split push anymore. Because if he dies with no buyback, the game is just over. And the gold discrepancy has been cut from like 20k to 2k. You got to really commend DC for this performance. Like they defended extremely well, given how hard this game was for them. I would say on paper, like Dire's draft is super good.
Is that
Nice mantle.
that was the Force Staff from Zai. I guess trying to break the Aghanims. Oh, Misery gonna be locked down here. BKB. No stun from Bulba there. Keep those heroes down. Abed didn't have his Aghanim spell shield up, so he's going to be caught by the side device, but does manage to get an escape. Goes back in, but the Fisher actually blocking him away from CCNC. That's okay. He could just go for the tier 3. Chain Frost bounce back. Uh-oh, PPD. He's going to die to his own Chain Frost. CCNC takes a ton of damage as well. He finally gets off the Chemical Rage and starts healing himself up, but Abed's going to be able to keep him back. No bash, though. He needed that bash real badly to be able to kill that Alchemist, so instead he turns his head back to the objectives. That's a second lane of racks down now for Digital Chaos.
And the Furion still feels like he can't buy back. Like, if he buys back right now, they're still in a 4v5. PPD can't buy back into the game. This looks like it's just Megas.
5 seconds left. Tier 3 dropping fast. CCNC
Oh, they're pinging the back
out.
door. I think they're going to go for it, Cap.
Nice dodge there from the bounce back unstable concoction. So it's up to CCNC. Oh, he's actually tipping in. You're right. He's going for Moon Meander. Mason is going to be the target of the Roar. They're going to try and finish off before he gets any more right-click damage off. CCNC is the target for both Abed and MSS. Oh, there goes the big ultimate out from the Animage. Misery is going to die as well in the back lines. Pycat trying to deal with these pesky supports. Is actually fighting up against Mason, but a Shallow Grave. He goes down. He has a buyback, but his other cores do not. Alchemist is dead, and they've called it. GG. Digital Chaos will make the comeback from what was once a 30,000 gold lead. An Alchemist lead yet, but still a 30,000 gold lead.
I can't believe they won this game. I actually cannot believe they won this game. Like, we didn't talk a lot about Mason until probably like halfway through the game because he was just doing his Veno thing where he's farming, you know, keeping towers safe, putting Plague Wards down or whatever. But I think like between him, the Pit Lord, and the Shaker is like what carried them during like those later stages of the game, like right before BKBs came out, and then after the BKBs got to that lower duration, they were just crushing the team fights so hard, like getting a triple kill when they were fighting on the high ground by their ancients, and whew, that's got to be it's got to be a little bit disappointing. I think if you're Dire, you probably felt like you should have won that game.
Yeah, absolutely. So that'll be 2-2-0s. Immortals 2-0 VGJ Storm. And what was supposed to be sort of our closest matchup and our highest matchup yet, Dire versus Digital Chaos. Those two teams have been vying back and forth over the supremacy of the North American region. It ends up being a 2-0 to the favor of Digital Chaos after a great comeback in this game.
That was a really fun series to watch, to be honest. Two very like differing styles of play. I'm really happy to see like DC going for this, I guess, kind of old school, very defensive posture lineup, and then being able to hold out long enough against what Dire had to win the game on the back of an anti-mage after watching it fail in the first series that we cast.
Mm-hmm.
That was really cool. Enjoyed that series quite a bit.
Well done by Digital Chaos. They're going to be moving on top of their group. And that is actually going to be bringing our day to a close. We have some more matches, not tomorrow, but Thursday, actually. We're going to be having Immortals. Apparently, they have they played against Complexity. Let's see. Was that winner? Sorry, the teams and the matchups and everything is changing. So I'm not actually sure who is matched up against who to start tomorrow. But we have to finish off our groups tomorrow. And then we'll start the first of the actual playoffs. So how this is sort of set up for the PGL qualifiers, that we had a real short group stage, best of threes between 4 different teams in 2 different groups. And then we're going to go straight into the playoffs. And then I'm not sure what we're doing with the rest of the playoffs. That is still to be determined. I think based off of who's actually going to be playing and when they can play in this crazy amount of qualifiers that's happening right now. The rest of the schedule is TBD, but we are going to know Thursday. We're going to finish off our groups, and do one of the playoff matches as well.
Cool. Well, if you want me back on, I'll be more than happy to join you for whatever. Just tell me when they are, and I'll be here.
All right. Sounds good. Draskell, is enjoyable casting with you. Got any shout-outs or anything? You know what? Screw you. You don't get shout-outs. I know you got viewers on the daily. If you want to shout out, you got like 2-3K watching you all the time. I'm
what
sure
if I
they'll get the
wanted to
message
shout out
across.
you, Cap? What then?
You know what? You can shout me out on a stream. How about that?
All right. I will. How about, because I'm probably going to stream anyway, because I just don't have anything else to do. I'll just host your channel whenever, I'm not around.
Oh, thanks, Draskell. You're the best. Wait, are you saying you're going to stream right now?
Yeah, like
all
later.
Right.
See, this is the thing, right? I told you, like, I had a new mic coming today and a new headset, but it came, like, after the first game we cast, so I couldn't, like, set it up, so I'm going to set it up, and I'm going to see if it works.
Gotcha. Well, go watch Draskell stream. And that's it. Thanks for watching, guys.